Hey guys, my name is Jana Ellis, and I'm in my office at home. And hello, I'm excited to see your videos and see what you thought about our readings this week, and kind of get to know you guys in that way. I'm very excited about this class, producing the high school play. And though I've done it a few times, I'm just excited to. Um, I'm kind of using it as a checklist of, am I doing this right even after all this time? I've been a teacher and director. This is the start of my 22nd year. Not always in high school. I started in the middle school, but anyway, I usually do my assignments earlier in the week, but this was the first full week back with students at my high school. And so it was very busy with doing all the beginning of the year things, plus auditioning and casting the fall play. The fall play is also, it's a one act that I'll also be competing with. So there's a lot more involved in that process too. So I'm really excited to have this class and our books to kind of use as guideposts as I navigate the show. I was inspired this summer to pick something classical, so I will be directing The Trojan Women, which I love it so much. And when I read it this summer, I was so inspired. I actually really I was like, wow, somebody do it so I can play Hecuba. But so I couldn't wait. So now I'm directing it. And that makes me look even forward to doing the production book for this class at the end, because if it's okay with Ms. Quinn, I'll be using that production of Trojan Women. Um, Okay, about our readings this week. I loved both books. I feel like the Bauman, I think is how it's pronounced, book is was a quick, easy read. Both of those chapters, and they were a great outline. And that the Catron books go deeper into the breakdown and also the application of all the elements. In the Bauman chapters, I understood all too well the start, that first chapter, where the discussion of the very many hats that the high school director must wear, which includes all the actual director things, plus being a coach, a counselor, an accountant, etc. But the idea that it posed in the first chapter of hiring a director in the first year as an option really kind of threw me. I can't imagine that any public school would be in a position to support hiring a director on top of the theater teacher. I'm very curious if any of my classmates are in a private school setting or other situation where this could happen, and hearing about that would be awesome. But actually, when I was hired, I was hired to do both. And I really looked forward to that. Directing was the one of the biggest draws. Um, and then, of course, the second chapter moved on to the specific things. If you can't hire a director, then okay, then we've got to think about these things. Um, Really, what stood out the most in that for me just boiled down to organization. That is a big deal. I really liked the structure of the Catron book, and I super love the addition of so many great, like, stop you in your tracks to think about it quotes in this book. Um, I loved how it started with the discussion of the director's vision, which was inspiring, and it was laid out in the three elements of a vision, that include the conflict and the emotion, and that it should be entertainment. I agreed also with the mantra, have a plan and be flexible with your plan. In my first year of teaching, my principal told me the following phrase. She said, memorize this phrase, Jana: monitor and adjust. monitor, and adjust. Because in any given school day, you just don't know what's going to happen. In the second chapter, there was great information about the 5 functions of the director, as well as a list of the director's responsibility. They were different lists. The chapter stood out to me as it was very in-depth and yet easy to see or understand and remember. And it had a great Uta Hagen quote, and I love Uta Hagen. Chapter 3 really breaks down the importance of play analysis, which also I love. I love reading the plays. Typically when I direct, I read the play at least 3 times before I even go do the auditions, just so I have a real understanding of what I'm looking for the characters, so I know what I'm looking for in the actors, and who I think I'll be, especially with working with kids, who I'll actually be able to get there. Chapter 4 delved deeper into plot, the word plot. And there was so much in the chapter just talking about plot, like investigating the elements of plot. And I appreciated how it discussed how to play each of the elements as well as how to direct each of them. That was cool. I loved the chapters in both books, and I look forward to what they have for us through the rest of the session in this class. Before I sign off, I'm going to leave us with a quote that was in the very first chapter that I love so much. I kind of saved it to think about as I go through the year and with each production. And that was the Robert Frost quote that said, the director is the dreamer of things that never were, envisioning a production that does not yet exist. See you next week. Hope it's a great one.